Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's session, I'll be covering mostly about building Android target, and I've chosen Android emulator as a target instead of having physical target because you need separate device. You have to spend money on separate device. So why to go for that? There's something very easily available which you can build without even spending any money. So Android emulator is again a target for Android. This is not just a simulation; it's a emulation. So basically, your Android is virtually running. It is running under virtual machine. So we are going to build Android emulator, and in case of emulator built by Android, Google for Android, they're using QEMU as emulator hypervisor. This is very common, and this is very much popular, and I've seen so many examples in past as well. So QEMU is the core of this complete emulation. Okay, you may see somewhere Ranchu or so. So Ranchu is actually was variant or version of um, or category of QEMU based emulator. So to build Android emulator, what you need is yeah, what you need to understand is emulation is as good as real device in Android app and framework perspective. We are going to build our own emulator from Android AOSP source code, Android open source platform source code, and if whether you go for Android application development or Android framework, which is basically system services and all, and are kind of HAL also development. Emulator is good enough to get into that. I use emulator a lot for designing framework component. I prefer to use emulator for framework component design because at that moment I'm not going to depend on any kind of hardware. I usually isolate hardware components and I concentrate on only framework component or application component or application interface components development. And my focus is usually into designing by using right patterns, design patterns, and all. So proper designing and all I do there in emulator, execute it, see everything is working as expected in emulation, in absence of the actual device, and then I go for um, working into the real target device or hardware. So same thing here. So a lot of development you can do just in emulator, and then you can go into the actual device. It is not only for application development. Even you can do emulate. I mean, you can emulate low-level development as part of framework component. Even kernel emulation also you can do, but it is up to you whether if you understand Linux kernel well, you can do that as well. You can work into low-level services like Android native services or core services or Android daemon within emulator. The benefit of working in emulator is you can verify things very quickly, efficiently, and it's a quick way to start working on things and proceed for further without delaying your time for whether I mean hardware is being shipped and you're waiting for hardware to come and then get started with it and all. So no need to wait, just start with emulator if possible.